Before Morrowind showed us how to do a really good first-person action RPG on the consoles, the genre didn't really have any standouts. Sure, you had games like Wizardry, but those were more of a turn-based strategy games. And you would think it wouldn't be that hard, but nobody really thought to do a true action RPG using this view. Eternal Ring was one of the earliest attempts I recall trying to do this kind of game. Released in 2000 by Agitech, Eternal Ring was released in the early lifecycle of PlayStation 2. Now, I'm just gonna let the plot or the early cinematics explain the story of the game.
That night, Kane Morgan was lost in the dreams of his childhood. He saw the charred remains of his home. He saw himself standing alone amid the wreckage. His mother and father were nowhere to be found. Kane was very young at the time, so young that he didn't really understand that he lived in a country known as Solskjaer, and that the neighboring country, Aldine, had suddenly become a cruel, aggressive invader. There was one other thing. They had all left for the island. That was all he was able to remember. Pangaria was the largest country in the western continent. The elders, who at the time were the acting rulers, had abruptly dispatched a group of knights to a place known as the Island of No Return. The young king, a man called Ian, who was known for his fairness and moderate manner, inquired with the elders as to the meaning of such a dispatch, but the elders didn't bother to reply. Gillian Morgan, the loyal leader of the king's retinue, was concerned about Ian, so he decided he would learn for himself what the elders were up to. He had but one piece of evidence to guide him. It was a vague utterance made by one of the elders. Somewhere on the Island of No Return was a ring imbued with eternal power. It was not a time for indecision. Gillian proposed to the king that his own son, Cain, should journey to this island. A few days later, before daybreak, a small boat departed from the port of Pangaria. It was a boat secretly obtained by Gillian for one purpose only: to carry his son, Cain, holding in his hand a sealed scroll from King Ian, to the Island of No Return. Thanks for the lift.
If you're gonna deliver that ladder, you'd be a lot better off doing it before nightfall.
You bet I will.
We fishermen usually steer clear of this island. Gotta be hard working for the king, huh? Best of luck to you. Hey, be careful out there.
graphics are dated looking back at it now. It came out at a time where we didn't know what was the true power of the hardware. Monsters are menacing enough, and definitely and generally look like a next generation game. The problem is, it's one ugly game now. Yes, I know first-person games tend to age the worst, but it's just plain ugly. Levels have overly recycled textures to the point of panicking. You'll find yourself getting lost so often because it's so hard to get your bearings anywhere you are. And that's mainly due to how repetitive just the game looks in general. The audio is hit or miss. The voice acting is cheesy. This was a time where if we got voice acting, more likely than not, it was bad, and internal ring is no different. Acting is stiff and cliched, and, you know, if nothing else, will definitely leave a mark on it. So, well, yeah, that guy's stiffer than a freaking board. Or that game had the acting where it was so stiff, you know, it might as well be a 2x4. The music is decent enough, but it won't really leave an imprint on you. The gameplay would be good if it was packed with a strategy guide. Like I said, you will get lost often, and getting your bearings is tough. This is made worse when you don't even get a map. It's almost like they want to do wizardry or Ultimate Underworld's kind of RPG, but forgot to modernize it with at least a map. The combat itself is flawed as well. This was a time where developers didn't really know how to use the right analog stick, and some games didn't even bother. This is the latter. You run around killing monsters, leveling up, and collecting magic rings. Some give you stat bonuses, and others give you spells. You can use your sword to save on MP. The problem is, one, moving is a chore. You move like a tank. Strafe using L1 and R1 and L2, R2 to look up and down. This can be a problem when you need to gauge where your enemy is, hit them, and more often than not, you'll end up running up to them, bum rushing, and running the frig back and forth and back and forth. Probably my biggest problem is that I never felt more like a moron in my life playing a game. The game gives you very few hints and tells you so little that you will be running around like an idiot and getting killed often. There is a cool crafting versus buying items system as you use gems to make new rings or buy items, but at the end of the day, the game is just not fun to play, and you really do need a strategy guide to finish this bad boy. Overall, Eternal Ring is a cool piece of gaming history if nothing else. It's a cool attempt to make a game like Ultimate Underworld or soon to be Morrowind kind of game, but it's aged so horribly that if you don't have a strategy guide or a walkthrough, then I'd pass. It goes for around 10 to 20 bucks on eBay, so if you want to give it a shot, go ahead, but be sure to have a lot of patience or you have a strategy guide on hand.